Israel has made its case clear when it comes to Palestinian statehood, but is also actively seeking normalization with all its neighbors, including Saudi Arabia. Here to speak with us about the challenges ahead on both fronts is Aryeh Lightstone, the former senior advisor to the U.S. ambassador to Israel. Aryeh, thank you for joining us. Just to start, what can you tell us about the demands that Saudi Arabia is putting on Israel? Is Palestinian statehood really a non-negotiable demand from Saudi Arabia?
Well, I think let's take one step further back, if that's okay. When negotiations happen publicly, they're destined to fail. The Middle East has a lot of people who are motivated to make sure that peace does not happen. And the more public thoughts that are out there and public negotiations that happen, the easier it is for those people who wish peace to not succeed to torpedo those negotiations is that. So I have not been in the room with the current Saudi administration, with the current U.S. administration. But I would tell you this, I'm yet to see a successful foreign policy initiative by this administration. I'd be shocked if this became their first one.
Now, what is your take on this statehood recognition by Ireland, Spain, and Norway? Just how damaging is this move, politically speaking?
Well, I challenge people to name the capitals of Norway, Ireland, and Spain. They are as relevant as people allow them to be relevant. It is counterproductive. It is virtue signaling is what it is. It doesn't help the Palestinian people. It certainly doesn't help Israel. And it should be condemned by people who want to be forthright about condemnation the same way the ICC and the ICJ should be condemned. The challenge is we have a lot of people who are doing performative actions without any actual substance, and it's taking everything backwards.
Now, do you believe that this push for Palestinian statehood could actually be pushing away a permanent solution, that it's rewarding terror, as Netanyahu has mentioned explicitly?
Well, it's doing a bunch of different things. It's turning Hamas into heroes. I'm not positive who wants to turn Hamas into heroes unless you're on an Ivy League campus in the United States of America. I'm not positive why it brings Hamas to the negotiating table, because they're getting everything by staying away from the negotiating table. And frankly, if anybody actually cared about the Palestinians, of which I'm highly skeptical that people outside of the state of Israel actually care about the Palestinians, they would be rooting for the complete and total elimination of Hamas and then a discussion about what can happen the day afterwards. But to go ahead and to declare a Palestinian state, who's running it, what are the borders, what are the rules that are there? And until people actually figure out any of those things, all it is a waste of language. And the problem is, in international diplomacy, language matters. So who's going to take any of these people seriously on a go-forward basis?
Now, you've mentioned that you don't believe the negotiations with Saudi would be successful at this point, at least under the Biden administration. Is there a scenario in which you believe this normalization between Israel and Saudi Arabia could actually come to fruition, and in what circumstance?
Oh, the Saudis and Israelis will make peace at some point in time. To a great degree, it's will the United States of America get out of the way. You have an issue. Saudi Arabia is, I think, one of the most impressive kingdoms on this planet. And I would argue that the Crown Prince, His Royal Highness, Mohammed bin Salman, is one of the most consequential human beings alive on the planet. That does not make him perfect, but it makes it the endeavor that he has to change the way the kingdom looks from before he got there to what he'd like it to look like in the future is one of the most consequential activities that's happening today on planet Earth. At the same time, the state of Israel is a living miracle of what it looked like before 1948 and what it looks like today. Will these two countries be better off together? They absolutely will be. Will these two countries have a relationship that's based upon either of their relationships with the Palestinians and have a chance of success? Absolutely not. So what are we trying to accomplish here? Peace, or we're trying to accomplish aggravation?
Great question. Well, Aryeh Lightstone, we are out of time, but I want to thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights.
Thank you.